Sanibonani, good morning, goeiemorgen, absheni. Igama lami nguNjabulo Manyoni, osesikhungweni semfundo ephakeme e-UKZN, emnyangweni wezokuhlelwa nokuthuthukiswa kolimi, i-ULPDO. Ngizizwa ngihloniphekile, ngikhethekile kakhulu namuhla ngoba nginikezwe umsebenzi wokuthi ngizonamukela kulolu hlelo noma kule ngxoxo yanamuhla. Angihambi ngedwa ke, ngihamba nomama uMakhosazana Xaba kanye nobaba uTshikani Mabasa. Ngizocela nje ukuthi ngibanike ithuba lokuthi bazethule, bazisho nanokuthi basebenza kuphi, bese ke siqhubeka nengxoxo yethu. Kodwa sila namhlanje njengengxenye ye-festival eyaziwa ngokuthi i-Time of the Writer, okungonyaka wama-25 25th Time of the Writer Festival. Isihloko sethu sanamuhla is Complexities in Translating Across Language Families, ukuthi ubunkimbinkimbi noma izingqinamba ezikhona uma ngabe sisuke sihumusha imibhalo yezinhlobene. Ngizocela ukuthi ke nginikeze ozakwethu ithuba lokuthi bazethule. Ngizoqala ngawe mama uXaba, uzethule usitshele nje ukuthi ngawe kafushane, bese emva uma usuqedile bese kulandela ubaba uTshikani Mabasa.
Ngiyabonga Njabulo, sanibonani nonke. Ngiwumbhali, ngibhala nezincwadi ze-poetry, izincwadi zama-short story, ngiwumhleli weincwadi ezithize. Kodwa nje namhlanje ngizokhuluma ngomsebenzi engawunikezwa inhlangano okuthiwa the Tricontinental, okuyinhlangano esebenza emazweni amaningi la eSouth Africa, Mexico, India, njalo njalo. Abantu ababhekene nezinto ze-social justice, ngakusummarize kanjalo nje ngamafuphi. Babefuna ke ukutranslator uFrans Fanon incwadi yakhe okuthiwa The Wretched of the Earth. So wona msebenzi engiwenzayo ke ngizobe ngikhuluma ngawo namhlanje.
Siyabonga kakhulu masiyakwamukela. Ngicabanga ukuthi ke njengoba sosinikeze nje lo mlando kukhulu esizokuncela kulombelo ogwansile. Sizokwazi nanokuthi futhi masiqeda sibe sesi nokuqonda impela okukhulu ngomsebenzi obubhekene nawo, nanokuthi ke sithole nathi njengabantu abenza umsebenzi wokuhumusha ukuthi iziphi izinto esingayisebenzisa nathi ekuhumusheni imibhalo engacishe ifane nawo lo wobhekene nawo. Siyabonga kakhulu siyakwamukela. Ntate Mabasa.
Ya ni khensile ni tatana Mabasa. Tate kisipedi. O Sesotho.
May I welcome you and we play safe and speak in English.
Okay, no, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm Tshikani Mabasa, as it was stated before. I would love to speak in isiZulu, but I'm a bit challenged. I'm good in listening. I can listen and understand well when someone is speaking isiZulu. My tongue is so rigid to an extent where I can't speak isiZulu to the level where the next person will understand me. So I'll try by all means to speak in English. But the other question may come in isiZulu. I will respond to that for the benefit of our listeners.
No, it's fine. I'll cover you. You can speak in English. I will try and paraphrase in isiZulu because I'm also a qualified interpreter.
Okay, no, that's great. Thank you so much. As I indicated that I'm Tshikani Mabasa, I'm working in the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture nationally. I'm working in the section called Human Language Technology under National Language Service. I've been a translator for some times, but I've been promoted to a project manager since I'm have got passion in language technologies. I worked in the National Language Service in Parliament for almost 5 years as a translator and an interpreter before joining the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture in Gauteng. My role, as for now, is to ensure that each and every language has got a software to assist translators, to assist language practitioners in broad. For instance, terminologists, there must be all software which are available in the world should be made available to our language practitioners. Whether you are a transcriber, whether you are a terminologist, a lexicographer, or whatever, so that we may be seen as government that is providing for upliftment of our languages. Because when we took over as a government in 1994, we promised that we will uplift the status of our languages to the level of English and other international languages. So my main role is to ensure that all software which are available in the whole world becomes available in our country. So in short, that's what I'm doing. But for this festival, my main point is to talk about the work that the department is doing on translation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mabasa. I think we've touched on some issues that are going to be very pertinent as we continue our discussion today. I think I'm picking up from what you've said in your introduction, as well as what Makhosazana has also indicated in her introduction, because already I think we are gearing towards the topic that we are supposed to be having our discussion on today. I just want to repeat it for the benefit of our audience. We are looking at complexities in translating across languages or language families. In other words, we have a task of ensuring that we touch on issues that we encounter in our role as translators, navigating our way through these complexities. And maybe by maybe picking up from that, I would just like to ask, maybe start with Makhosazana, if you can share with us, because I know translating something like Fanon's book is not child's play. I'm sure you had a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of head scratching, a lot of consulting of aids like dictionaries, even human reservoirs of language knowledge as well, in order to try and maybe deal with just one word in the entire book. So please just tell us, take us through some of the challenges that you faced, maybe by way of examples as well, that will help. And then I'll also come back and ask maybe Mr. Mabasa to draw from his experiences as well. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so ngingabhala incwadi ngama-challenges engibe nawo. So I'll try and summarize. And ukuze ngikwazi ukusummarize, mhlawumbe it would be useful kubantu abalalele ukuthi ngifunde nje from i-contents page The Wretched of the Earth. This is the book engiyitranslator. I-chapter yokuqala kuthiwa on violence. On violence in the international context. I-chapter yesibili, grandeur and weaknesses of spontaneity. I-chapter yesithathu kuthiwa the trials and tribulations of national consciousness. Eyesine, on national culture. Mutual foundations for national culture and liberation struggles. Then i-chapter yesihlanu okuyiyona yokugcina, colonial war and mental disorders. And into eyenza ukuthi ngifunde lawo ma-chapter ukuthi ngibonise ukuthi izihloko okukhulunywa ngazo womhlanu zihluke ngeyona ndlela. So mawuhumusha i-chapter ye-violence. I-violence okuzokhulunywa ngayo, masikhuluma isiZulu sizothi yini? Udlame, izimpi, ukuthi. Kodwa mawuqhubeka u-translator, kufanele uzame ngayo yonke indlela ukuthi uthole i-meaning ngale ndlela okufanele uyithole ngayo. So ngingathi nje inselele enkulu engiyizwile ukuthi ngathi ngifaka inteka ngathi ngenze nje ebuchosheni bami ubuchopho bami benza into obungayijwayele ngoba njengomuntu osephilele la eGoli isikhathi eside into engiyijwayele ukuzama ukusuka la ekhanda lami ngesiZulu ngiye esiNgisini mangikhuluma nabantu abangasazi isiZulu. So njengamanje kufanele ngisuke esiNgisini ngiye esiZulwini ngibe ngibhala. So kube into ingqondo yami bekufanele ukuthi ijwayele ngithathe isikhathi. Number 2. Lencwadi le igxile kakhulu emzabalazweni wenkululeko wase-Algeria. Mina bengazini nge-Algeria. So sengifunde izifundo eziningi ngomzabalazo wase-Algeria. Ngafunda izifundo eziningi ngecolonialism yama-French. Umsebenzi omningi bese ngiwenzile ngaphambi ukuthi ngithole lo msebenzi bengazi ngecolonialism yamaNgisi. Eyama-French bengayazi. So indlela uFanon abhala ngayo uzothi ekhuluma nge-Algeria abenikeza izibonelo zamanye amazwe ayecolonizwe ama-French. Okusho ukuthi ingqondo yakho kufanele nje ivele isabalale kanje. Ufunde ngalezo zindawo ngoba mayinikeza isibonelo kwi-paragraph eyodwa wena ungayazi i-background kusho kufanele uhambe uyofuna imibhalo ekhuluma ngalelo zwe nokucolonizwa kwalo. Ngoba indlela abhala ngayo uzonikeza nje isibonelo mhlambe athi ungqongqoshe usibanibani wase-Mauritius ngonyaka kabanibani. Unikeza i-example aqonda ukuyisebenzisa ngesikhathi ekhuluma ngalento akhuluma ngayo. Mawungazi nokuthi ungqongqoshe wase-Mauritius ngo-1950 bani wayewubani, kufanele ufune imibhalo ezokusiza ukuthi uqondisise ukuthi kwakwenzakalani ngaleso sikhathi. So ngiyakuthanda ukufunda mina ke so leyo party beku into emnandi ukuyenza. Kodwa what it means kusho ukuthi i-translation yakho phela kufanele ishonele i-speed o translator ngazo siyehla ngoba kufanele uqale u-understand the context ufune lezo zincwadi ezi-specific to that bese ubuya kuzo translate. Kanti nje bewufunela i-paragraph eyodwa nje kodwa i-context bekubalekile ukuthi uyithole. Mhlambe ngagcina lapho kwamanje ngoba iningi lento ngingakhuluma ngingaqedi.
Ngizocela ubaba Mabasa naye picking up from what Makhosazana has said, if mhlambe naye kukhona okunye, if there's anything that you want to pick up on from what has been raised and maybe add before we move on to your own challenges that you faced. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that information that we got from Makhosazana. Before I get into the challenges that we face as a department, I would like to first provide what we as a department are doing in the translation section. Maybe a background will assist in understanding exactly what the role of the department is when it comes to translation. We have got 4 sections in National Language Service. The first one is the translation and editing section. The second one, terminology development section. And then the third one, human language technology section. And then the fourth one is language policy and development. But for today's festival, I will focus much on 3 of them, which is translation and editing, and also terminology development section, and lastly, the human language technology section, because these are the ones that deals with the role of translation. The Translation and Editing Directorate provide a translation and editing service to the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, and to all national departments, entities and enterprises that do not have language units. You know, when it was introduced, when the UOLA policy was introduced, every government department was supposed to have its language units. So currently, most government departments don't have the language units. Hence, it's a role of the department to ensure that we provide such kind of a service. We translate documents from English into the 10 official languages, and we also provide editing service for documents in different languages. We usually, most of the time, or most of the documents that we receive are from English into isiZulu. So our language practitioners for isiZulu they work day and night. They don't even have space to breathe. Then we also we provide a service. I think that's the one that will talk to the culture that Makhosazana spoke about, knowing the culture of other countries. We have got a section which translates documents from foreign countries in order for the international relations section to understand exactly what happens in these other countries, most especially when dignitaries from other abroad countries come to South Africa. Some of them, they come here not knowing English, they use French. So whatever is presented in French need to be translated. So most of the challenges that we encounter when translating such documents is the culture. How do you transfer rather, because now the question now is no longer translating, it's transferring the cultural knowledge of French into South Africa environment and back to the person who has presented something. Let's say it's a president of France who visited us. He would like to ensure that his speech is well understood in the country, here in South Africa, by everyone. And he would also like to get the very same response or he was looking for that will talk to his presentation. So it becomes a challenge on our translators who has got limited background of French culture. So in short, that's what I can say, but I'll give more details when it comes to the challenges that we experiencing in the department.
Thank you so much. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Mhlawumbe maybe ake ngibuze nje ngoba okuvelayo clearly as we are having our discussion is that a translation itself is a communication process in a way, because you have this message which is formulated in one language with a particular purpose directed to a particular audience. And now, as a translator, your role is to ensure that that message gets to a different audience because now it's in a different language, but expecting the same results as the original or the author of the original document or the source document. Now, I want us to talk to that communication role that we translators have to play. Mama Makhosazana, from your experiences translating Fanon, what would you say was the major source of your headaches? I will deal with the headaches for now. We'll deal with the panado later in our discussion because we have to come with some of the things that we look at as solutions. But what was your major source of headaches and nightmares in terms of the communication aspect or the communicative aspect of the book by Fanon?
Ngicabanga ukuthi enye i-challenge ibese kuthini angisazi is French, so that's the original source language. Mina ngitranslator ngisusa esiNgisini ngiletha esiZulwini. Uma ngifunda lesi singisi esiyi-translation yes French, asifani nesingisi engisaziyo la eSouth Africa. Angithi isingisi engisijwayele. So angazi noma isingisi lesi esi-translate uFanon siyisingisi vele esigcina sesiqhamuke ngaleyo ndlela ngoba sivela kwisi-French. Angazi ukuthi impendulo yalowo mbuzo ngizoyithathaphi. So uma ngifunda, okay, so that's one problem, challenge. Eyesibili isekuthini le ncwadi kuthiwa uFanon wayibhala wayengayitype yena, wayitshela, I think uma ngikhumbula kahle kuthiwa kwakunkosikazi wakhe. So wayeyikhuluma unkosikazi abesiyayitype. So uyakhuluma unkosikazi uyatype. So umbuzo lapho usekuthini mangabe utype into ekhulunywayo isondele kangakanani entweni ebhalwayo, bese uzotranslate leyo nto ngesingisi, bese mina ngisuka la esingisini ngiza la esiZulwini. So kunezinto nje ezinye ziyahlekisa, ezinye ziyamangaza, ezinye ziyacasula, and you just think, okay. So ake nginikeze nje ke i-example yama footnotes. So incwadi le enama footnotes. Ngagcina sengicele kule nhlangano engiqashile ukuthi ngicela uma kunomuntu one copy yesi-French ningiboleke yona, ngizoke ngibone nje ukuthi ama footnotes esi-French ayihamba kanjani ngoba nginezincwadi ezimbili. Umuntu wayetranslate in the 60s unama footnotes awu-43. Le ncwadi esivumelene ukuthi ngizoyitranslate inama footnotes awu-149. French enama footnotes amangaki banginikezeke kwakunama footnotes awu-40. So ngithi ke mina ngicela ningitshele ukuthi nifuna ngitranslate maphi ama footnotes, lawa 149 noma lawa u-43 noma lawa u-40. Base bethi hayi sicela ukuthi utranslate lawa u-40. Okay, so what that means for i-tricontinental abantu abangiqashile ukuthi kufanele bathole umuntu ozotranslate ke manje lama footnotes awatranslate esingisini khona ngizokwazi ukuthi ukutranslate akaFanon ama footnotes, bese bengitshela ukuthi le footnotes ingena kuphi, kuliphi sentence, kuyiphi paragraph, ngoba mina ngisebenza neversion ka-149. So lo 149 imuphi u-40 okuyena ovela kwi-original yes French. Uyayizwa lento engizama ukuyichaza? Inkimbi nje, inkimbi enkulu ke esingakayiqedi ngisho ukuyiqeda ngoba ke manje batheke sebezoqasha umuntu ozotranslate from i-French lo 40 kuphela.
Yeah.
Ngithi mina nikhumbule ukuthi kufanele ngitshele ukuthi each footnote izongena emva kwayiphi sentence ngoba i-footnote ayindizi noma ikuphi, angithi?
Yebo.
Yeah, so that's a very nkimbi thing of nkimbi.
No, it is very very complex, and thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing with us that example. I think we still have quite a few things that we are going to be drawing from your experience, because I know certain text types require a particular approach so that you will end up with the desired translation, or a translation with the desired effect. In other words, you'll achieve equivalence at the end of the day. And quite rightly so, the context becomes crucial because you need to understand and immerse yourself in the French or in Fanon's context, which gave rise to him penning the work that you are translating in order for you to be able to do justice as a translator to the message that he was trying to convey. Siyabonga kakhulu ma for raising those points. Ngizocela ukuthi ngibuyele kuNtati Mabasa. Ntati Mabasa, from the side of the government, the department, what would you say are some of the difficulties that you face in dealing with the same project of translation, given that, as you were saying, your translators 24/7 are buried in translation?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. You know, we facing multiple challenges. If I have to list them, 1 hour is not enough. They start from general, you know, when you're translating a general document, you're starting from a general document around, I mean, in the country. Let's say it's from Xitsonga into isiZulu. There are terms which are difficult to be understood by isiZulu speakers from Xitsonga. And that poses a challenge because now we are translating between two official languages of South Africa, which the languages which are sharing different spaces and have got different experience. So if you translate with the background of isiZulu culture, then you end up transferring information from the Xitsonga community into isiZulu. We have been trying to translate cultural books or novels from other languages, from isiXhosa. There was this Amawele, I guess you know that novel, into other languages, because we want to ensure that cultural information which is sitting in Transkei, which is sitting in the Western Cape for isiZulu community, it's also known by people who are in the Northern Province, so that when they meet, there is no, you know, that cultural, I mean, looking down upon another speech community. Is because we don't know what is happening in the other speech community. So these are the challenges that we're experiencing when we want to transfer information. We need a translator who has got better understanding of the culture of isiZulu, of isiXhosa, so that when he's translating a book from Sepedi or from Sesotho, he translates with the knowledge that, or with the knowledge that it's best known in a speech community of Sesotho, that will sit well with the audience of isiZulu speaking community. These languages in our country, they are different. isiZulu is one of the Hlonipha languages. And if you want to translate the way the Venda speakers put their matters down, you will find that that cultural background, that cultural feature of isiZulu has been compromised. There are terms which we don't, in Xitsonga, we don't use when we are before young people. So we need to make sure that whatever information that we're transferring from one culture to the next culture, it sits well with the culture that is getting into. This comes back to what Makhosazana, sorry for that, has been saying, that you need to go and read the culture of the language you are translating from. And for one phrase, it may take you the whole day, because you don't go there and look for that phrase. You go there and read the whole information. So these are the challenges that we're encountering locally. And then internationally, before I go to internationally, there's another question that we have between our African languages with English and Afrikaans, is that in terms of titles in relationships, it becomes difficult if you don't know that uncle in English, when it comes to isiZulu, is what? It's something else. For instance, if I have to give a practical example, if you're translating from isiZulu to English, umalume, and in English they will say malume, it's what is uncle. It's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
But what about ubaba mncane when you take it to English? You see, you're transferring information from one language to the next language. But if you don't have the background, you don't know why. I mean, isiZulu, umalume is like this. And then when it goes to English, it's something else. That creates a challenge, a serious challenge. And also in terms of, hello?
So no, can finish what you were saying. Sorry,
yeah.
Sorry to interject.
Okay, I think another thing is the cultural expressions. That poses also a challenge. And knowing, sometimes when you translate, you have to first know your audience. If you don't know your audience, you end up transferring information which won't be well accepted by the audience. Like if I may, okay, maybe I'll think of an example at a later stage, and then I'll chip in and give that example. I think for now, cultural food, these are other challenges. You have got pizza in other Italian languages. When it comes to us, how do you translate that? And then if you have to transliterate, which format do you use? Do we use the way in which isiZulu is written? Or we simply borrow it as it is from English or from Italian languages? So these are the challenges that we encountering on daily basis. And if the authorities like Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, like PENSALP, like universities, if they don't play their active role, then we'll find our languages being consumed by foreign languages. We'll speak the way, I mean, the way, let me give an example, please don't quote me. I listened to one of the radio commentators commentating.
By the way, you are on YouTube and Facebook, so you won't be quoted by me.
No, if I'm not quoted by you, I'm safe. But what I wanted to say is that a commentator was saying, we am dribblisha. You see, and it's a goal. You see now, we am dribblisha. Don't we have a term in that language that we can use? And if we keep on allowing, I'm not saying that we must kick away all these terms that comes in, but if we have got ways that we can use, like Ndiamlavish, I mean, why do you use that? Are we? Yeah. So there's a lot that I can say.
No. I hear you. I hear you.
That I'm speaking that language only. Even these other languages, they have the same challenges.
No. Sorry to interject. It's just that I loved. I'll use loved intentionally what you just said about Ulavisha, Safarisha.
You see,
and all those kinds of things. Yes, but I think you touched on something very, very important, which also links to what I do as well, over and above just being a translator. Terminology development. I think we're now starting to move towards the solutioning side of our discussion, because initially I was talking about challenges, but I can see that you already are thinking and also showing me that you already have devised strategies to deal with these complexities as you translate. Noma ngalekathi nihumusha sekhona amasu enwatholile enwasebenzisayo ukuze nikwazi ukuthi nibhekane nalezi inselelo lezi zokwahluka noma zokungahlobani kwezilimi lezi nisuke nizihumushela. Mhlawumbe ngizoqala ngizobuye ngingakafiki nje kuwe mama, mhlawumbe ukuthi sibheke ukuthi ingabe ke iziphi izinto oyaye uzisebenzise ukuze ukwazi ukuthi ubhekane nalezi zimo. Mhlawumbe nami ukuthi ngithi ukuphosa nami esivivaneni ngokomsebenzi engiwenzayo, because mina owami umsebenzi I work as a language practitioner in the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and one of my primary roles is to translate university documents, primarily notices, policies, research, ethics, ethical clearance documents, in fact, all official documentation that comes through our office. And one of the challenges that I've had to deal with was lack of terminology. For example, if I am translating a letter to a participant in a research project, and the researcher has the title of the research, mind you, it's discipline specific, and the researcher is from, say, for an example, health sciences. In other words, this is a medical, this is part of the medical field. Now, I have to make sure that the person who reads this letter and signs for consent understands exactly
we have lost you. Makhosazana, is that me who has just lost Njabulo?
No, Nami, I've lost him. He's just still.
Yes, freezed. Is it too cold in his car?
Wesley needs to help us. Wesley?
Njabulo has freezed. Oh, it's back now.
Yeah, no, I think I was experiencing, experiencing network challenge. I was still saying that then it becomes important to have terminology that is constructed or that is topped with the end user in mind, because one of the things that we do is terminology development. And I just want to find out from you, having spoken about my own experiences, the role that maybe the availability of terminology plays in terms of ensuring that you are then able to navigate these complexities between the different languages that you are translating, that you are actually translating. Maybe starting with you, Mama Makhosazana, in terms of terminology, did terminology maybe have a role to play at all when you were translating umsebenzi humusha umsebenzi ka Fanon?
Kakhulu. Enye into engithemba ukuthi izokwenzeka emva kwale panel ukuthi ningisize ngikwazi ukuthola imthombo for some of the things engizidingayo. Njengokuthi nje ngidinga i-dictionary ye-psychiatry. Ikhona i-dictionary ekhuluma ngamatemu e-psychiatry ne-psychology esitranslatelwe esiZulwini. La ngizovele ngihambe ngiyovula khona ngazi ukuthi anxiety disorders kuthiwa yini. Bengingakayitholi njengamanje. Mhlawumbe nina niyawazi lawo ama-dictionary ukuthi ahlezi kuphi. So ngisebenzisa leso sibonile ngoba ngizithole ngoba ngafunda i-psychiatry. Ngizithola sengivele ngihumushela nje esiZulwini itemu elimedical le-psychiatry Makuyini, I can give nje ama examples lapha njoba ngibheka incwadi nje konje ngizovula kuphi. Systematic contraction and muscular stiffness. So uma item elinjalo elimedical linjalo ngesingisi likhona yini la abantu abakhanda ama dictionary bahlala phansi bathi leli sizolibiza ngokuthi. So yona into engiyidinga kakhulu njengamanje engitshelela abantu abangiqashile ukuthi kusafanele ngithi ukujula kancane ngibheke ukuthi ubani osenzeni kuphi.
Yes.
Now amehlo ami agxumele lapho nje akulona into okunzima ukuyihumushela esiZulwini leyo. Kodwa nansi enzima. Paroxysmal tachycardia.
Yay.
Paroxysmal tachycardia. Now umuntu onjengami owenza psychiatry in the 80s sekufanele ngihambe ngiyofuna i-dictionary ye-psychology ngizikhumbuza ukuthi i-paroxysmal tachycardia kwakuyini ukuze ngibone ukuthi ngiyakwazi yini ukuyihumusha noma ngiyofuna abantu asebeyihumushile ukuze ngikwazi ukudouble check ukuthi njengomuntu owazi isiZulu nofundisa psychiatry lihunyushwe kahle yini leli gama.
Yes.
Ngoba into engiyibonayo nengiyi-experienceayo njengoba ngenza le translation ukuthi kungalula ukuhumusha igama olaziyo uma kuyitemu elimedical ngoba uyazi leyo discipline.
Your field, yes.
Kodwa uma ngabe kade ihunyushwe umuntu ongayazi i-discipline ihamba kanjani? Njengamanje nginama dictionary angazi. Ngaze ngalanda i-dictionary yakudala inqolobane yesizwe eyayihunyushwe nini eyayibhalwe nini kudala. 1 2 ngibheke i-bookshelf yami lapha 1 2 3 4 ngoba uzothi ubheke igama elilodwa kufanele ucomparison and then bese uyabona ukuthi le ncwadi yayibhalwe ngama 70s kungakaqhamuki ukuthi nokuthi.
Yes.
So lento oyishoyo ye terminology kimi ivele ingikhumbuze into eyenzeka ngesikhathi kuzofika umabona kude eSouth Africa ngo-76. Ngaleso sikhathi i-radio Zulu ngazi noma ibizwa ngo-radio Zulu ngaleso sikhathi yaba nomqhudelwano kwakukhulunywa la kwa-radio emsakazweni ukuthi ake sikhande umqhudelwano kuzofika into ela eMzansi okuthiwa yi-television. I-television bayichazeke angithi ngaleso sikhathi sasingenayo uma bechaza ukuthi ibhokisi elinjani elenzani. So sicela ukuthi niqhamuke namagama azosichazela ukuthi television yini. So ke kwakuloku towards the end of the competition siyezwa amanye amagama laze lawina ke igama likamabona kude. Kodwa leyo nto yathatha isikhathi abantu becabanga abantu bechazelwa ukuthi leyo nto iyini and ngikhumbula kahle ukuthi ngangi-excited ngiyinqaba mangilalela umsakazo ukhuluma ngalento. Yayithi mayisifikile wabona ukuthi ngempela umabona kude wenza kanje. Ayengakafiki ke ama-computers asiwasebenzisa ukuthi akwazi ukuthi asisize sikwazi ukubona kude njengoba sibona njengamanje. So umsebenzi ke inselelo yami njengamanje isekutheni sengiyitranslateile incwadi ngihumushile ngayiqeda kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi kusewu-draft wokuqala loyo. Inembala eminingi la ngizitshela khona ukuthi number 1 fanele ukhethe phakathi kwalamagama. Unawo amagama ohumusha ngawo but iliphi eliyilona eliyilo for le context oyi-translator. So for izinto ezinjengalezo ngisebenzisa uPurple system yami. Bese kuba khona la ngibona khona ukuthi okay ngihumushile kodwa angiyizwa kahle kwamina. Safanele uyabona ngiyenze ibe mnandi ukuthi nami mangiyifunda ngizwe ukuthi hayi ngifunda into emnandi ngoba kukhona ukuthi uhumushe into uyichaze kodwa ingabi mnandi mawuyifunda. So njengomuntu oyipoet ngiyathanda ukuthi mangifunda into ibe mnandi.
Yeah.
Uyayizwa lento engiyichazayo.
Ngizwa kahle.
So ama-sections anjalo kule draft engikuyo njengamanje ngiwenze aba-green ngoba ngiyazifanele ngibuyele laphaya ngenze kube mnandi kuzwakale yabona kuhambe kamnandi ukufunda ngoba i-flow ibalulekile.
Yeah.
Bese bakhona-ke la magama engikhuluma ngawo i-terminology nje strictly medical and not just medical in a broad sense, psychiatry.
Specific.
Exactly.
Yes.
So into esengiyibonile ukuthi lapho mhlambe kuzofanele ngikwazi ukukhuluma nabantu abanjengani abazaziyo lezinto ningixhumanise nabanye abantu abazaziyo khona sizokwazi ukuthi siqhamuke namagama amasha. Yikho nje bengisebenzisa isibonelo sikamabona kude.
Yeah.
Ngoba kuwumsebenzi ospecific ukufuna ukuthi nifunde ngamagama ukuthi niqhamuke namagama amasha. So uma ngabe uhumusha lento engiyihumushayo ngizokhuluma nobani kuphi? Obani omsebenzi yabo iukhanda amagama amasha. Fanele ngiye kuTshikani.
Yes. No, it's true. It's very true. In fact,
welcome.
Yes, I'm very happy that we are having this discussion, and the three of us are actually forming a very interesting combination, because at the end of the day, the university as well is doing work aimed at developing terminology for academic purposes. However, some of the works that are being translated outside of the university also are of an academic nature and needs to be translated using terminology that will be expressive of the views of the author of the original text. So as well as even in government, it's the same, because they are also engaged in a number of fields. Hence, Tshikani was saying earlier on that they are constantly churning out translations, and with those translations, I'm sure terminology also plays a role. Tshikani, maybe if you can share with us briefly around how terminology features insofar as maybe being one of the solutions to the challenges that you're referring to in translation.
Yeah, thanks. I think Umama has covered almost everything that I wanted to say. And also asking that I be of a help when it comes to terminology development.
Yes.
Yes, of course, we as a department, especially in the human language technology section, the section that I'm heading, our role is to ensure that terminology is developed, especially in areas where you find that we never had terms on domains like medicine. We only have terms on our traditional practice.
Sure.
of I mean, the should I call it traditional doctors. All the activities that we do, we have those terms in our languages. But it's difficult to get terms from our languages to English. We end up, it's only that I don't have my list here. You end up giving terms you end up describing the term in English, more especially when you translate from, let me give you an example of isiZulu, translating from isiZulu. When you say, what do you call it? You see, tokoza, like this, something like this. How do you translate that into English? And like Makos, then how do you translate that into English? Siyavuma. How do you take that into English? So we need terms. It's not only our African languages or our South African official language that are suffering from technology, even English, because the culture that we have, they don't have it. But we are there as government in the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture to assist in funding project of developing terms in areas where there are no terms. As we speak, we have got a project with Rhodes University of developing medical bilingual dictionary. We had a project with CSIR of developing a software that assists medical practitioners in health, in maternity health areas, where a doctor wants to, let's say a doctor wants to speak to a patient without an intervention of an interpreter. It being a patient and a doctor in one cubicle.
Interpreters will not have jobs because of this fourth IR. However, I think you are so just to sorry to interject. I just wanted to latch on to that very importantly, because we can't run away from the fact that we are now into the fourth industrial revolution. So then it means these complexities will have to now also be negotiated within this new context of technology. We only have about 5 minutes before at the end of our time. May I maybe get concluding comments from each of you before we sum up? Just concluding comments in terms of what we've discussed and what you think should be the way forward in terms of the challenges and also the solutions that you're suggesting going into the future. What should we be looking at as translators or people in the translation space? Maybe let me start with you, Tshikani, since I interjected you, and then I'll have Makhosazana after you. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. We have deliberated much about the challenges and the solutions. I think what I can suggest in closing is that we are there in the department to assist language practitioners in whatever challenges they have. We have got funding to assist in the development of whatever solution that you think of as a language practitioner. I'm sitting here in Gauteng, in the department's office. I don't know the challenges that the language practitioners are facing in KZN. So I need universities, I need ordinary people to communicate to this office, telling the office that we don't have terminology in this area. Can you please develop such terminologies? And then we will do that. And there are translation software that we have developed. It will assist the translators to translate faster and consistently. And there are interpreting software that we are busy developing will assist interpreters. We have got a terminology development section that deals with development of terms. So we are here. Actually, what I can simply say is that the solutions that you think you need in your space, in your working space, please provide to them, then we'll entertain. Contact us in whatever way.
Thank you so much. In fact, I'm glad you have put yourself out there, because remember, as I said, you're on YouTube and Facebook, and I hope the public out there are getting to understand what the department is responsible for and where it can also intervene in terms of assisting. I know there's Ochumat, of course. I use it as a translator, which was developed by the department. It's a very good tool, and I'm looking forward to the interpreting as well, because in as much as it will be challenging interpreters to now move into the technology space, however, the human touch is always required. So for me, it's more of a blend, finding the right blend of both in order to make sure that everybody has a role to play. Maybe in closing, we have 4 minutes. Makhosazana,
or maybe, Njabulo, maybe to clear one misunderstanding, the software, the interpreting software that we're developing is not there to replace an interpreter. You don't have to be in the venue where event is happening. You can translate, you can interpret at the comfort of your home, as long as you have got that software. So we are cutting on the cost of traveling.
Yep. Cost cutting measures. Thank you so much, Tshikani. Xaba?
Well, mina ngicela ukubonga nje uphindi invite ukuthi ngizokhuluma la ngoba into ebengiyifisa kakhulu selokhu ngiqalile ukwenza lo msebenzi ukuxhumana nabantu abenza lo msebenzi. So uma uTshikani ethi kufanele ngiyongqongqoza ngikhulume naye ngijabula kakhulu. Uma ngizwa ukuthi kunomsebenzi abawenza ne-roads wama-medical terminology ngijabula kakhulu. Njoba sengixhumene noNjabulo ngazi ukuthi wenzani ngijabule kakhulu. So kimi into ebengizoyisho yikho lokho ukuthi kufanele abantu abenza lo msebenzi sihlangane, sixoxisane, share izinto esizenzayo khona ngizokwazi ukuthi uma kwenzeka lokhu kwa department kaTshikani ngizokwazi ukucontribute lokhu noma ngizokwazi ukuthola lokhu. So kimi nje into ebalekile ile ukuthi kufanele sixhumane even more. So ngizobe ngqongqoza kuwe nge-email namhlanje ebusuku Tshikani nawe Njabulo. Angizuchitha isikhathi. Ngesikhathi uphindi engi-invite ngamtshela ngathi phindi nginenkinga yokufuthi kufanele ngikhande style guide. Ngizoqala phi, you know. So uma ubuza ukuthi i-way forward ithini kimi ukuxhumana even more.
Yes. Ngiyabonga kakhulu in fact ngizocela nje na ucheck i-inbox yakho khona isipho engikuthumelele sona ezikade sixoxa nje mesiqeda nje la ucheck i-inbox wakho. Hayi yilo okusuka kimi kuya kuwe ngoba ngiyakulavisha okwenzayo as uTshikani said. So I've sent you something, but thank you very much colleagues for spending this hour with us, and I think we've come to the end of our discussion. Engicabanga ukuthi abakade besilalele bazuzela ukukhulu futhi sizokwazi ukuthi mesiqhubeka siya phambili sithole nezixazululo zeyingqinamba noma zeyinselelo ezikhona ezibhekene nabaningi abenza lo msebenzi esiwenzayo.
Siyabonga. I've posted my email address, Mamkaba, tshikanim@dsec.gov.za. I'll also post my telephone contact numbers, but if you are very close to Dr. Dlamini, so to say, now I'm pronouncing it the way they would pronounce it in Tsonga. You can get you can get my details from her.
All right.
And all the software that we have, I can share with everyone.
No, in fact, I was also about to say, if you go into the University of KwaZulu-Natal's website and look for ULPDO, University Language Planning and Development Office, if you Google that, it will take you to our website. We also have a lot of information around available terminology, and we also have a UKZN bank where you can find terms online from various disciplines. We also partner with the Department of Arts and Culture in KZN in terms of, and also nationally, in terms of terminology development work that we do. Because we believe as Ndate Tshikani, I'm sorry to say that as Ubaba uTshikani, no Mama Ubeshilu uthi collaborations become very, very important because imali zokwenza umsebenzi azikho. Ngakho kubalekile ukuthi lokho esinako sikuhlanganise ndawonye ukuze sikwazi ukuthi mhlawumbe ukuthi abanye benza umsebenzi ogxile kakhulu kwezobuchwepheshe technology, abanye bagxile kakhulu ku terminology, kodwa ke konke lokhu mase kuhlangene kubuye kuzosisiza ukuthi senze umsebenzi wethu lo wokutranslator noma ukuhumusha ngendlela ezokwazi ukuthi ibe nempumelelo ngokomsebenzi lo osuke uhlosiwe. Ngicabanga ukuthi isikhathi sethu sesiphelile, kodwa bengicela ukuthi ngibonge kunina nobabili ngokuthi nifike nibambe iqhaza kule ngxoxo. Ngicabanga ukuthi ke zisaqhubeka ingxoxo wethu nakusasa kuzobe kukhona olunye uhlelo ngaso sona lesikhathi ozobe libheke terminology development. The focus will be terminology development, and I think it will be also important having a set in this discussion to just see how that fits into what we're discussing today. Without any further ado, may I then say siyabonga kakhulu, ngibonge kakhulu Mama Makhosazana, ngibonge kakhulu nakuwe baba uTshikani. Ngicabanga ukuthi imininingwane yethu abafisa ukuyithola bangathintana nabahleli befestival ukuze sikwazi ukuthi mhlawumbe sixhumane nabo ngendlela ehlukahlukene. Siyabonga kakhulu. Ngimfisela inhlanhla nasemsebenzini eniwenzayo nonke. Inkosi nibusise, God bless. Konke nje kuqhubeke kukhanye kube mhlophe. Siyabonga.
Oh, I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kakhulu.
Mam Xaba,